Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Adams, and I'm the president of this great class seated before you. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to today's commencement ceremony. High school has been a fast 4 years for some of us. For others, it has seemed a bit longer. But the fact remains that none of these people sitting around me will spend another school day within these walls. School is out, and I'd like to welcome you again to the celebration of departure. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kevin Held. I'm the principal here at Nokomis, and on behalf of SAD 48, I'd like to welcome you all here. A number of thanks I'd like to do. I want to thank Mr. Dion, who's broadcasting this, that you can find a tape of, Mrs. Cray, Ms. Cross, and Mrs. Henderson for all the work they've done in getting this ready. Of course, all the senior class advisors. I want to thank the Countryside Greenhouse for the flowers we have up on stage. But most of all, I want to thank this class, my first class here at Nokomis. What a great group of kids you are. And you'll always remain kids in my mind because I'm so much older than you are. H.G. Wells, the author of The Outline of History, wrote that human history becomes more and more a race between education and catastrophe. His theme still rings true today. Less than 50 years ago, television did not exist in Maine. No MTV, no Seinfeld, not even I Love Lucy existed in the state of Maine. Passenger jets did not exist to take us to non-existent Disney World. The term rock and roll had not even been coined. Hi-fi existed, but not stereo. 78 RPM records were the norm, and the term CD did not exist. A nation that no longer exists was in a Cold War with the United States. Outer space had not been probed, and computers, such as they were, took the space of this entire gymnasium. When your parents were young, were your age, a nation devastated during World War II had a wall dividing it. Disco ruled, color television became commonplace, and if you had an outside antenna, you could watch Stacy's Country Jamboree on a Saturday night. School buses did exist, so when your parents tell you they walked uphill in the snow both ways to get to school and back, they may have been exaggerating a little bit. In your lifetime, you have been witness to a undreamed of changes that your parents could never have foreseen. The VCR that your parents probably still can't operate. It replaced movie theaters and drive-ins, and you should ask your parents about drive-ins someday. You have CD disc players. Your parents may have had Walkmans, and they had something called an 8-track tape. The personal computer came into vogue, as did the cell telephone in your lifetime. You may have seen, and you have seen, a Dow Jones record set, El Nino, and a wicked ice storm. The trial of the century was brought into your living rooms. You have seen one heavyweight bite the ear of another, and you've seen a Maine athlete gain national recognition. Unfortunately, you have also witnessed terrorist attacks upon this nation and the growth of diseases that have caused great anguish for many. But you also saw the Cold War end and the Berlin Wall removed. What all this means is that the pace of change has quickened greatly, and you, the class of 1998, must prepare yourselves for even more change. I say to you that your education is just beginning. It is true that this element of your public education is ending, yet you must continue to learn if we are to meet the challenges of the future. I'm proud to say that many of you have realized that your education must continue. Over 60% of the class of 1998 plan to attend post-secondary schools in the fall. And many of you will ask the right questions to find the solutions that beset us now and will meet the challenges of the millennium. It might be that some of you will create a flying car like we see on sci-fi programs. Or maybe one of you will find the cure for HIV, cancer, or the common cold. Someone graduating from here today could solve the world's energy problem or travel to another planet in the solar system. and a number of you might work to ensure justice for all in our own nation. In short, your education here at Nokomis has given you the basics to do what will be needed in the next century. I can even envision that some of you will be involved in creating something that, at this time, we can't even imagine. To do that, I urge you to continue to develop your skills, demonstrate and perfect new techniques, and hopefully for those of us who are over 40 in this audience, find a way to bolster Social Security and the pension system so we don't have to worry about our old age. The great British Prime Minister of the 19th century, Benjamin Disraeli, once said that upon the education of the people of this country, the fate of the nation depends. With graduates like our class of 1998 from Nokomis, our future will be assured. On behalf of the educators, directors, and your former classmates from Nokomis, I wish each of you the best in your future. Strive to attain your goals, revise them as needed, but continue to make yourselves the best each of you can be so that the challenges of the next 50 years will be met for the betterment of all mankind. A writer of the 17th century once wrote, "Of all that writ, he was the wisest bard who spoke this mighty truth. He knew that all that ever learning writ knew only this, that he knew nothing yet." I wish each of you the best of luck in the future. I thank you for making my first year at Nokomis a pleasurable one. May God bless and speed you on your journey.
Thank you, Mr. Held. At this time, I have the great honor of introducing today's speaker. Today's speaker was actually a graduate of this same school in 1989. He was active in sports, captaining in cross country, and was very busy academically. He won 5 state championships in debating and public speaking, and was named National Merit Scholar. After leaving Nokomis, he attended Harvard, majoring in government. Here he was the top speaker at the National Debating Championships and the semifinalist in the World Debating Championships at Oxford, England. He graduated from Harvard with honors and was selected to give the senior address at the 1993 Harvard Commencement exercises. He continued to earn his law degree from Harvard Law School, and in 1996 became only the second person in history to deliver 2 Harvard Commencement addresses as a graduating senior and as a graduate student. He is currently assistant counsel to Governor Angus King, who provides legal and policy advice on a wide range of subjects, including healthcare, education, and civil rights. All of this and a graduate of Nokomis Regional High. He is a true example to us all that you can go anywhere, from anywhere, if you really want to. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Yellow Light Breen.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Joe, for that wonderful introduction. I made a deal with Joe before the show that if he gave me a good introduction, I wouldn't tell the Navy about him appearing in drag in the school plays. It's really good to be home, and it's even more wonderful to be home here to share the stage with this class of 1998. A gentleman said to me before the program, he said, "Well, you've talked to tens of thousands of people at those Harvard commencements. This has got to be easy. It's a much smaller crowd." And I thought, yeah, but it's easy to make a fool of yourself in front of a bunch of stuffed shirts from away. You people know where I live. If this speech doesn't go well, I'll have to join the witness protection program. I think this year's graduates are probably looking for some pithy words of wisdom. And unfortunately, unlike some of the speakers that they might have had in years past, all I have is still questions. I'm still on the same journey that they are. But because it hasn't been that many years since I sat where they sit, I think I have some sense of what they're thinking right now. They're thinking, what the heck kind of name is Yellow Light? That question takes me back to my own graduation 9 years ago. Our speaker at graduation was Jim Tierney, the Attorney General of Maine. I ran into Jim about 5 years after I graduated, and he told me this story. He said, "I was on my way up from Augusta to give that speech, and I had an assistant with me who was from away. And he said, 'Jim, what should I expect at this high school graduation anyway?' Jim thought about it and he said, well, unfortunately, there's not a lot of economic opportunities in this area. We'll have some kids going off to college, some kids joining the military, some kids going to work in some of the local mills, and some out to go work in the woods. But then he recollected something. And he said, wait a minute. About 20 years ago, we had a bunch of hippies move into this area. I bet we're going to have at least one frizzy-haired hippie kid going off to the Ivy League or something. So, of course, they show up at the high school and meet the principal, and he says, we got a really, really great class. We even got one kid going on to Harvard. Jim and his buddy hit the floor laughing. They had to leave the room. So you see, I'm thankful you're still in the room with me. A lot has changed over the years since I was here. We didn't even have a taxidermy lab. Most of the teachers I have are now stuffed exhibits up in that taxidermy lab. But it is comforting to know that some things haven't changed, that the same person is still in charge. I wonder when Carol the janitor is going to finally retire anyway. But this is, as those great Americans, Green Day, say, another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. I hope you've had the time of your lives. But it's not a turning point just for the graduates. It's also a turning point for family and friends. I know that your parents are looking forward to that extra income now that they'll finally be able to charge you rent. But really, this hasn't been a journey that you've taken alone. And I'd like you to join me in giving a round of applause to all of your family and friends who are here today who helped you get where you are. I thought long and hard when I started working on this speech about what I could say, and I thought, being basically lazy, maybe I could just recycle what Jim Tierney said at my own high school graduation. I couldn't really remember what it was, except it had something to do with how life is like the Wizard of Oz. I thought, well, maybe, but there aren't nearly as many munchkins in my experience. So then I thought, well, heck, maybe I could just recycle all those same old platitudes you always hear at commencement speeches. You heard a few in Principal Held's speech already. Some of my favorites. The world is your oyster. What, it's a slimy mollusk, and if you irritate the heck out of it, it might give you a pearl? I don't think so. You can make a difference. Maybe. This is one that always gives the parents a massive coronary. You graduates are our future. And then this is a really great one. This is not the end. It is only the end of the beginning. Well, maybe, but looking out there, some of you might think, hey, this could be the beginning of the end. So I sat down and I worked on this speech, and I had, 10 pages of material. And I was looking at this material yesterday, and I thought, I don't need to give this speech, because the things I want to tell you here today are quite simple. What I'd like to do is not recycle some platitudes, but what I'd like to do is tell you a few of the things I've learned, both here and since I left here, in response to the two questions I always get, other than, what were your parents on anyway? And those two questions are, how did you do it, and why did you come back? Well, I think the first and most important thing I learned after I left Nokomis was never, ever wash whites with colors. But beyond that, what I learned is you have to dream big. And you can dream big, as Principal Held has already suggested. When I looked out at the world and thought about what I could do there, I was inspired by people who came from this part of Central Maine who went on to do great things. And I thought, if they can do it, I can do it. I want to tell you a little story about a couple of boys who grew up in Parkman, Maine. Twin brothers they were. Their dad had a small farm there, which you can still see up on Route 150 as you drive through. He worked hard on that farm to put his two boys through school. One brother, Victor McCusick, became a PhD and a world-famous researcher in genetics and founded the Department of Genetics at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. The other brother, Vincent, went on to graduate #1 in his class at Harvard Law School. He could have gone anywhere in the country. He could have gone anywhere in the world. He chose to come back to Maine and had a great career in public service to the people of this state, serving as Chief Justice of the Maine Supreme Court. There have been people from Central Maine who have gone on. They inspired me. I hope that they'll inspire you. You have to dream. You have to dream big. But I know what you're thinking. A lot of you are sitting there thinking, come on, I don't have any money. I barely made it through this place. He says dream, more like dream on. Well, you have to have more than a dream. It's true. I had a dream that someday maybe I could dunk all over people's heads like Mike Jordan. But, you know, there was a little catch there. This little 2-inch vertical leap I have wasn't really going anywhere. So you do need more than a dream. You need a goal and you need a plan. You need to think, what do I want to do with myself next year? What do I want to be 5 years from now? And then you have to think, what can I do today, just a little bit, to get me a little closer to that goal? It's never easy, and the plans always change. As someone said, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. But when that plan goes awry, the unplanned opportunity that arises will be far better than what would have happened to you in the absence of it. There is in life, unlike math, no straight line from point A to point B. I'll tell you another little story. A few decades ago, there was a group of law students who volunteered to go places in America they had never been in order to serve poor people who couldn't get lawyers, who couldn't afford lawyers to protect their rights. So they all drew straws on where to go. A couple of them drew kind of short straws. One guy drew North Dakota. Never been there before, but he sucked it up and went off to North Dakota. He went to serve, he settled to stay, and he spent a lifetime serving the people of North Dakota. He's now governor of North Dakota. The other guy, the guy that drew that other short straw, his name is Angus King. And that's how it happened. Things do happen, and you never know how. But when you have a plan, and we take it one day at a time, they happen. Now I want to ask the graduating class if they'd answer a question for me. I want you to raise your hand if you're going on to an institution of higher learning next year. Pretty good. Congratulations. Pretty good showing. You should all be proud. But you know what? You answered the question wrong. Every single one of you should have raised your hand, because life itself is an institution of higher learning. John Dewey once said, education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. Along the same line, Thomas Hughes said, beer and Skittles is not all there is to life, but beer and Skittles are an excellent part of every education. So I ask you, when you look at where you're headed next year, to think about it as an institution of higher learning. And the kinds of things you're going to learn are going to be the really important things that are worth learning. Not like the Revolutionary War started in 1776 or how to balance a chemical equation. The things every one of us can learn is how to be a better person, how to be a better friend, how to be a better parent, a better spouse, a better boss, a better employee, a better hunter, a better woodworker. These are the things we learn in life, not between the four walls of any educational institution. You can all learn them. You all should learn them. And so I would encourage you to approach life as a constant learning experience. Learn something new. Do something new every year of your life. My girlfriend is off climbing the Himalayas this week. But you don't have to climb the Himalayas. There's lots of smaller mountains that need to be conquered every day, everywhere, and you can conquer them. But what about that other kind of higher education, the kind that does happen within the four walls of a college or a school or a university? All of you need to make a plan to make that a part of your life as well. It's not easy. You're going to have to work hard to get there, but you're going to need it. I had a friend who was one of my best friends from childhood, and he graduated from this place 158 out of 163. He wasn't a dumb kid, but he didn't know what he wanted to do with himself. He just let everything slide. He wouldn't have graduated at all if Mr. Mack hadn't let him do some makeup work in chemistry. Now, this year, 11 years later, he's graduating from USM. When he finally figured out what he wanted out of life, he worked his way through school. He paid the freight. He studied, he worked, he made it through. It took him a long time. And finally, he's here. And he did it for him. He didn't do it because anyone told him he should, or that's what you need to do, or you'll make more money. He did it for him. And that's the reason I think that all of you should think about doing it. You're going to need it, but more importantly, it's going to be good for you. There's a few other things I've learned along the way. Always, always wear sunblock. But beyond that, people always look up at people who have achieved and they think, or they ask, well, you did it because you weren't afraid of anything. And what I want to tell you is, you're always afraid. I have the same fears that you've had every step of the way. The fear of, what if I fail? Will people like me? Is it all worth it? Do I deserve it? Those fears are always there. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is dealing with that fear, coping with that fear, using that fear to help you succeed. I went out of here, a little small town kid, went off to the big school in the big city, met things I'd never seen before, didn't know what to do with. I walked in that first day, met my roommates. God, what a bunch. There was a Dutch kid from Singapore who spoke 5 languages. There was a redneck football player from Kentucky. There was an Italian preppy kid from New Jersey. There was a cowboy from Western Canada. Across the hall, there was a kid from Tokyo, from Virginia, from Texas, from Europe, a world-class violinist. These were things I knew nothing about, never experienced before. And that's the other lesson you have to take with you. You have to treat difference as a challenge and not a threat. You have to learn from it. And sometimes you learn from the most unlikely people in the most unlikely places. Some of you adults may remember this. A few years ago, back in the 80s, they came out with what they used to call the Susan B. Anthony dollars. The little coins that were dollars. They looked like a quarter, and no one could tell the difference. Well, I was in New York a few years ago, and I put some money into a machine, and all these little coins started coming out, and I said to myself, what the heck are these things? Because I thought I was getting stiffed. There was a homeless guy sitting right there by the machine. And he said, "Them's dollars." I said, "Oh." I said, "Got a dollar?" I guess so. So you can learn something anywhere from anyone. You have to keep your eyes open, you have to keep your ears open, and you can learn. But the other thing that people ask me, other than how did you do it, people ask me, why did you come back? And that's a simple question, and I think it has a complicated answer. At least for me, it has a complicated answer. I've been all around the world. Well, not quite. I've been all around this country. And I've seen the sun set in the mountains in New Mexico and turn them blood red. And I felt the gentle wind of the Pacific breeze. I swum in the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. And there's no more beautiful place on the face of this earth than Maine. But there are other things that make Maine great, other than the fact that, there are more places for the Nokomis band to travel to. And that's the people. There are no people like the people of Maine anywhere else on this earth either. Simple, down-to-earth people. They're not into complications and sophistication. They tell you what they mean and they tell it to you straight. Not a lot of malarkey, not a lot of baloney. And that's hard to find as you travel around this country. Some of you are going away to school. Others will have a chance to travel. You're going to have to learn it for yourself because I know you're not going to take my word for it. But there's something special we have here. We have a community. We have a place where people know your name, where people care what happens to you. And most places in this country, that's no longer true. You're just one more faceless person, nameless number. Hold on to that. Treasure it, no matter how far you go, because that community is the most important thing that we have. There's a more personal side to this, though, about why I came back. I just told you that there's a community we have here that's special. But I have to be honest with you. When I was a kid growing up here, I was off doing my own thing. I never really knew if anyone understood or cared what I was up to, who I was, why I did what I did. I was surrounded by people that I knew, but I never felt like I was a part of that community, a member of it. And there was one moment that changed all that for me, a moment that almost never came. Right when I was about to graduate from high school, sitting in this room, probably no one else who was there remembers this, but I do. When the principal announced that I'd won a National Merit Scholarship, it was my classmates, my peers, who gave me a standing ovation. And that ovation said to me, "We value what you've done. We take pride in it. We consider you to be one of us." And I almost left here without knowing that, without appreciating that. I think sometimes we send mixed messages. As much as we tell people to dream and to succeed, we sometimes do things or say things that indicate that, well, maybe, just maybe, we don't want you to do anything different than what we did. We don't want you to have anything different because maybe that something different will be a little bit better. And that puts some doubt on what we've done and how we've lived our lives here in this community. And I want to tell you that when we say those things, it's not our hearts talking. It's our fear, it's our insecurity, it's our pride talking in those moments of weakness. We really do want you to have it better. We want you to have the best of all that we had, and then some. Wherever that takes you, and wherever you go, and however you do it. But we want you to come back. We want you to take what you learn, and we want you to come back with it, because we love you, and we care about you. I said a few minutes ago that I didn't think that The Wizard of Oz was such a good metaphor for graduation from high school. Maybe I was just a little bit too hasty, because I think, in the end, even though every single one of you has to go and look over that rainbow for yourself, you have to remember, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Congratulations, good luck, and Godspeed.
On behalf of the senior class, we would like to present Mr. Breen with a gift certificate to Borders because that was such a great speech. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amanda Grignan. As I stand up here, I say, wow, what an interesting and wonderful 4 years it has been. Many different situations and circumstances have brought us to this day and to this place. This is a time for congratulations, and it's also a time for great thanks. First of all, I'd like to thank my parents, without whom any of this would have been possible. I'd like to thank them for their support, their love, their guidance, and their willingness to sacrifice for me. I'd like to thank them for the late nights, the rides, the money, and all the free advice. I'd also like to thank my teachers. I feel really lucky to have gone to Nokomis. My teachers have been really unique and have taught me to get along with many different types of people. They've given me a lot of support and have made a great big impact on my life. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my friends. They've been with me through the years and through all the many changes we've all gone through together. They've helped me gain a new perspective on life. To my friends that are up here on this day graduating, I give them thanks. I'm also going to try to offer a few words of advice. I'm up here because I have done well academically. Likewise, many of you guys have been honored for your abilities at sports, music, art, and anything else you can think of. It seems the high school has taught us to achieve, to always do our best. We have been taught to be always productive and to bear fruits of knowledge and high test scores. We have also formed an idea of how important it is to be successful. Many of us aspire to have high-paying jobs, healthy families, lots of money, and even a nice sports car. While academic success and success in life are important, they're somewhat superficial. These gains are only material and are not really significant. When we reach the end of our lives, will we look back on how high we climbed the social ladder and how far we advanced in society? Will these things have truly made us happy? It is unlikely. These fruits of success may provide initial sustenance, but the sugar high will soon wear off. I'd like to read a story about what might happen at the end of our lives. In that place between wakefulness and dreams, I found myself in a room. There were no distinguishing features except for the one wall covered with small index card files. They were like the ones in libraries that list titles by author or subject in alphabetical order. But these files, stretching from floor to ceiling and seeming to go on forever, had very different headings. As I drew near the wall of files, the first to catch my attention was one that read, "Guys I have liked." I opened it and began flipping through the cards. I quickly shut it, shocked to realize that I recognized all the names written on each card. And then, without being told, I knew exactly where I was. This lifeless room with its small files was a card catalog system for my life. Here were written the actions of my every moment, big and small, in a detail my memory couldn't match. A sense of wonder and curiosity, coupled with horror, stirred within me as I began randomly opening files and exploring their contents. Some brought joy and sweet memories. Others, a sense of shame and regret so intense that I would look over my shoulder to see if anybody was watching. A file named Friends was next to one marked, "Friends I have betrayed." The titles ranged from the mundane to the outright weird. Books I have read, lies I have told, comfort I have given, jokes I have laughed at. Some were almost hilarious in their exactness. Things I've done in my anger, things I've muttered under my breath at my parents. I never ceased to be surprised by the contents. Often there were many more cards than I expected. Sometimes there were fewer cards than I hoped. I was overwhelmed by the sheer volume of the life I had lived. Could it be possible that I'd had time in my life to write each of these thousands or even millions of cards? But each card confirmed this truth. Each was written in my own handwriting. Each had my signature. When I pulled out the file marked songs I have listened to, I realized the files grew to contain their contents. The cards were packed tightly, and yet, after 2 or 3 yards, I hadn't found the end of the file. I quickly shut it, shamed not so much by the quality of the music as by the vast amount of time I knew that file represented. When I came to a file marked Lustful Thoughts, I felt a chill run through my body. I pulled the file out only an inch, not willing to test its size, and drew out a card. I shuddered at its detailed content. I felt sick to think such a moment had been recorded. Rage exploded within me. One thought dominated my mind. Nobody must ever see these cards. No one must ever see this room. I have to destroy them. In an insane frenzy, I yanked the file out. Its size didn't matter now. I had to empty it and burn the cards. But as I grabbed it at one end and began pounding it on the floor, I couldn't dislodge a single card. I became desperate and pulled out a card, only to find it as strong as steel when I tried to tear it. Defeated and helpless, I returned the file to its slot. Leaning my forehead against the wall, I let out a long, self-pitying sigh, and then I saw it. The title read, "Things I have done in my life that have eternal value." The handle was brighter than those around it, newer, almost unused. I pulled on its handle, and a small box not more than 3 inches deep fell into my hands. I could count the cards it contained on one hand. Then the tears came. I began to weep, sobs so deep that the hurt started in my stomach and shook all the way through me. I fell on my knees and cried. I wept out of shame, the overwhelming shame of it all. The rows of the shelves swirled in my tear-filled eyes. No one must ever know of this room. I must lock it up and hide the key. I hope that when we reach the end of our lives, our card catalog system will be filled by things that are important, not what kind of cars we've owned or important people that we've met in our lives, but things that have real and eternal value. There are important fruits that we must strive for. These are fruits of values and of morals, fruits that will nourish our souls, fruits that will take us far, fruits of the Spirit. The fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Joy we need to have, and it comes from the inside, not the outside. We need to have peace and contentment, no matter what the situation is. The secret of contentment is the realization that life is a gift, not a right. We need to have patience, which is the ability to keep your motor idling when you feel like stripping your gears. It's a quality you admire in the driver behind you, but scorn in the one ahead. You must be slow to anger, and you must get along with people. We also need to have kindness and goodness. We need to follow the golden rule and have charity for others. We need to have faithfulness to our friends and to our jobs. We need to have loyalty and put 100% of ourselves into whatever we are doing at the time. We need to have gentleness and self-control. Self-discipline is essential. Most importantly, we need to have love. Love is truly what makes the world go round. The Hard Rock Cafe motto is, love all, serve all. Love is not something you catch like the flu. Love is like a garden. It grows slowly and it takes a lot of care. Love is a big commitment, but it will make you whole. Love is not selfish. It is giving. It makes you a better person. The Apostle Paul said, "If I speak in tongues of men and angels, but have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I know everything and have a faith that can move mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give all I have to the poor and surrender my body to the flames, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love never fails." The fruits that I have been discussing are what is truly important in life. It may not seem like it, but these values will provide a solid foundation on which to build our lives. Because when you assess the true worth of a person, the tape measure must be put around the heart, not the head. We must have character. I dare you to go beyond what your mind can see. I dare you to be different. Society encourages us to be an ugly duckling that turns into a swan. It is the quintessential American dream to start with nothing and grow to have everything. But I don't want you to be a swan. I don't want you to conform to society. I want you to be an eagle, beautiful for power and majesty, beautiful for its difference. How do we attain these things? How do we become truly successful in life? Through attitude. Attitude is a choice. Every morning you wake up. You have two choices. You can choose to be in a good mood or you can choose to be in a bad mood. Every time something bad happens, you can choose to be a victim or you can choose to learn from it. Every time someone complains about you, you can choose to accept the negativity or you can point out the positive side of life. Life is all about choices. When you cut away all the junk, every situation is a choice. You choose how to react. You choose how to live. Attitude is everything. It's going to be hard at times. Nobody said life is easy. But the Creator that made us will not fail to sustain us. If you're looking for answers, then there's even an instruction book that our Creator wrote. Today is a turning point in our lives. We can choose to be miserable, or we can choose to follow society and do what the world expects of us, or we can rise above all of that. I encourage you to do the latter. I encourage you to defy sadness, to defy society, and to follow your own heart. Don't let anybody else ever tell you how to live your life. This is your dream. This is your reality. I know that we as a class can attain whatever we want. We must choose to strive for the skills that will give us real and eternal joy. We mustn't get caught up in the entanglements and confusion of this world. Today is the turning point. Go for it. I'd like to close my speech by reading a poem that has made an important difference in my life. It's by Robert Frost and it's called "The Road Not Taken." Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though, as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet, knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I encourage you guys to have a happy life.
Unfortunately, fortunately last night was class night, but there were some unfortunate circumstances where this is really for the graduating class, and sometimes we're so busy and things sort of happen that people tend to get left out. During the class video, we try to incorporate everyone, but it came on a little late, so some people didn't exactly get into stuff, and on behalf of the class, I'd like to apologize. And so for Mike Watson, because we left him out, I would like to give him a class gift of the video because it is at the beginning. Unfortunately, Mike was the first picture that was not shown. So Mike, we just want to say that we're glad to have you as a part of our class, and thank you for being here.
Well, now it's time for scholarships. You know, one writer once said, the first rudiments of education are given by most parents. And still another writer wrote that education makes us what we are. Many people in our local area have worked hard to create future opportunities for all of you on either side of me, so you can continue your education. On your behalf, I thank them for their caring and generous gifts. A great number of the graduating seniors took the time to fill out the paperwork and applications to receive scholarship monies. Each group that provides a scholarship has its own set of guidelines and standards and criteria that the students I'll be calling up have met. Our seniors have chosen a number of schools to attend next year. A partial listing, and believe me, it's a partial listing, includes Husson, Unity, EMTC, Thomas, UNE, Eastern Nazarene, University of Florida, well, that's a nice place to go, Johnson & Wales, University of Pittsburgh, the U.S. Naval Academy, Embry-Riddle Aeronautical, Norwich, UMF, UMO, Springfield, Yukon, Wheaton, KVTC, University College at Bangor, Castleton, and Maine Maritime, a wide variety of schools. I urge each of you receiving scholarships to make the most of your future educational opportunities. We at Nokomis are rooting for you and offer our help to you in your future. Make the most of your opportunity. Work hard, be diligent, and be thankful for the support that all of us can offer you. Enjoy today, for today you are the stars. You've worked hard to get to the point that's going to happen in about an hour. Your parents have supported your efforts. They laughed and cried alongside you. They bandaged your cuts. They helped you get on the bus many years ago to start school. They held supper for you while you were at band, basketball, or working late. They've encouraged you, been discouraged by some of your actions, nurtured you, and helped bandage a damaged ego. Through it all, they have given you the love and support you needed to reach this point in your life. Although those graduating today are the stars, your parents were your support. Be sure to take some time in the next couple of days to thank them for all they've done. Also take some time to thank your relatives, peers, teachers, and significant people in your life so that those who've helped you can feel a part of today's milestone for you. Continue to reward all of us by accepting the challenges of the future to be as successful as you can be. And now for the scholarships. Scholarship of $500 goes to Tiffany Falloon. The Albert J. Brewster Scholarship of $150 goes to Rebecca Carlo. Mr. Buss, would you like to come forward? The Archon Masonic Lodge number 75 in East Dixmont, Maine is giving a $1,000 scholarship to Jasmine Susi. Bud Elms Memorial Scholarship of $500 goes to Jamie Baker. Bud's Shop and Save of $500 goes to Nathan Roach. The Carmel High School Alumni Association gift of $500 goes to Lisa Hamlin. The Claire Lewis Memorial Scholarship of $200 goes to Nathaniel Boulanger. The C.M. Almy and Son $500 scholarship goes to Melissa Allen. The Consumers Maine Water Company $250 scholarship goes to Dara Cannell. The Corinna American Legion Auxiliary $200 scholarship goes to Amanda Dorman. The Career Training Foundation $1,000 scholarship goes to Preston Bragan. Corinna Union Academy Alumni Association Scholarship of $250 to Amanda Dorman. Corinna Union Academy Alumni Association Scholarship of $200 to Jared Otis. The Corinna Union Academy Alumni Association $100 scholarship goes to Preston Bragan. Corinna Union Academy Alumni Association scholarship of $100 goes to Rachel Ricker. The Corinna Union Alumni Association scholarship of $100 to Scott Lister. The Corinna Union Alumni Association scholarship of $100 in the name of Hannah Bola to Amanda Perry. Also, the Corinna Union Alumni Association scholarship of $300 in Hannah Bowler's name to Carrie Clark. The Dale Dinsmore Memorial Scholarship of $300 to Amanda LaCroix. The Dexter Sunrise Kiwanis Club $500 scholarship to Cindy Fairwell. The Dixmont Scholarship Association $500 scholarship to Jasmine Susi. The Dixmont Scholarship Association $750 scholarship to Jason Lesingman. The East Newport Grocery Scholarship of $200 to Jamie Baker. The Elm Street School Scholarship of $500 to Emily Burgess. The Elm Street School Scholarship of $500 to Jamie Duras. The Elm Street School Scholarship of $500 to Rebecca Melanson. A $150 Etna Dixmont Scholarship to Holly Burke. A $150 Etna Dixmont Scholarship to James Giacchetto. A $150 Etna Dixmont Scholarship to Kimberly Pusher. And the Etna Hamden Telephone Company TDS $500 scholarship, to Kim Pusher. And stay right there. The Glenn Moore Memorial Scholarship of $200 to Kimberly Pusher. Good thing you were sitting right there, Kim. The Goodwin O. Gilman Scholarship of $1,000 to Amanda Grignan. The Grand Lodge of Maine Odd Fellows and Rebecca's Nursing Training Scholarship of $250 to Amanda Dorman. The Hammond Lumber Tri-County Technical Center $1,000 scholarship to James Giacchetto. The Heartland Academy Alumni Association $100 scholarship to Barrett Brown. A $100 Heartland Academy Alumni Association scholarship to Tiffany Falloon. A $500 Heartland Helping Hands scholarship to Brad DePussy. A $500 Heartland Helping Hands scholarship to Kevin Terrio. A $500 Heartland Helping Hands scholarship to Nicholas Wallace. A $500 Heartland St. Albans Lions Club scholarship to Jillian Oliver. The Helpful Workers of St. Albans $500 scholarship to Amanda Buber. The Herbert Bates III Memorial Scholarship of $100 to Angela Noble. The Herbert Bates III Memorial Scholarship of $100 to Barrett Brown. And a Herbert Bates III Memorial Scholarship of $100 to Charles Jones. the Homer C. Woodward Memorial Scholarship of $250 to Amanda LaCroix. The Homer C. Woodward Memorial Scholarship of $250 to Melissa Allen. The Joanne Lawrence Memorial Scholarship of $500 to Rebecca Carlo. The Lance R. Downing Memorial Scholarship of $200 to Holly Burke. And the Lance R. Downing Memorial Scholarship of $200 to Kylie Turner. And a $200 Lance R. Downing Memorial Scholarship to Kim Pusher. Lies and Miles Stryer Scholarship of $1,000 to Jared Otis. The Lucille H. Reed and Donald S. Reed Memorial Scholarship of $500 to Amy Stratton. The Lucille H. Reed and Donald S. Reed Memorial Scholarship of $750 to Carrie Clark. The Lucille H. Reed and Donald S. Reed Memorial Scholarship of $500 to Elizabeth Eaton. The Lucille H. Reed and Donald S. Reed Memorial Scholarship of $500 to Rachel Henderson. A $500 Maine Masonic Scholarship to Wayne Bartlett. And a Maine Cisco $1,000 scholarship to Nora Smith Hilton. A Margaret Studio $100 scholarship to Kelly Madigan. The Mary Ellen Mead Scholarship of $250 to Jennifer Cray. The MSAD 48 Teachers Association Scholarship of $500 to Amanda Dorman. The Newport High School Alumni Association Pearl B. Lamfer $500 scholarship to Lisa Hamlin. The Newport American Legion Post number 105 June Reynolds Scholarship of $100 to Amanda LaCroix. A Newport High School Alumni Scholarship of $500 to Jennifer Cray. A Newport High School Eugene Town Scholarship of $500 to Andrea Pelkey. A Newport High School Eugene Town Scholarship of $500 to Holly Burke. A Newport High School Mildred Kibbe $200 scholarship to Rebecca Melanson. A Newport Women's Club, $400 scholarship to Jamie DeRaps. Night Drifters Snowmobile Club, $300 scholarship to Rebecca Melanson. The Nokomis Agribusiness Scholarship of $250 to Angela Noble. Also a Nokomis Agribusiness Scholarship of $250 to Jennifer Cray. A Nokomis All Sports Boosters $500 scholarship to Andrea Pelkey. And a Nokomis All Sports Boosters $500 scholarship to Jared Otis. A Nokomis NHS, that's National Honor Society, $100 scholarship to Amanda Grignan. And another $100 Nokomis National Honor Society scholarship to Angela Noble. The Outlook Club's $200 scholarship to Kelly Madigan. A $250 Palmyra scholarship to Andrea Pelkey. A $250 Palmyra scholarship to Nate Belanger. Palmyra Snowmobile Club, $300 scholarship to Barrett Brown. The Paul R. Briggs, MD Memorial Scholarship of $300 to Angela Noble. The Scott Webb Medical Center Auxiliary, $300 scholarship to Brad DePussy. The Sebastopol Valley Elks Lodge, number 2713, $500 scholarship to Joanne Tebow. The Sebastopol Valley Garden Club, $500 scholarship to James Chiquetto. A $500 Sebastopol Valley Hospital Auxiliary scholarship to Rebecca Carlo. A $300 Shirley B. Carter VFW Post number 4298 to Rachel Ricker. A Snow Devils Snowmobile Club, $200 scholarship to Nate Belanger. St. Albans Chatterbox Club, $200 scholarship to Amanda Buber. A $200 T&W Garage scholarship to Jamie DeRaps. Also a $200 T&W Garage scholarship to Jeremy Parker. The Maine Commission of Community Service, $500 scholarship to Jillian Oliver. The Thomas C. Huth Memorial Scholarship of $300 to Jamie DeRaps. The Travis N. Day Memorial Scholarship of $150 to J.R. Toll. Another $150 Travis N. Day Memorial Scholarship to Rebecca Carlo. And still another $150 Travis N. Day Memorial Scholarship to Robert Perry. A $250 Tri-County Technical Center Scholarship to Rebecca Carlo. The Triple C's Couples Club Scholarship. Boy, that's a tough one to say. $300 to Dara Cannell. The Trustees of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship of $700 to Amanda Dorman. A $700 Trustees of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Amanda Perry. A $700 Trustees of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Amy Stratton. A $700 Trustees of Corunna Union Academy to Brandy Corsair. A $700 Trustees of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Carrie Clark. A $700 Trustees of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Cheryl Charles. A $700 Trustees of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Dennis Woodward. A $700 Trustees of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Elizabeth Eaton. A $700 Trustees of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Jared Otis. A $700 Trustees of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Joseph Adams. A $700 Trustees of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Liza Bennett. A $700 Trustee of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Preston Bragan. A $700 Trustee of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Rachel Henderson. A $700 Trustee of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Rachel Ricker. And a $700 Trustees of Corunna Union Academy Scholarship to Scott Lister. The 210 International Footwear Foundation Scholarship of $600 to Carrie Clark. A Walmart $1,000 scholarship to Angela Noble. A Weston Buber scholarship in the amount of $800 to Amanda Buber. And an $800 Weston Buber scholarship to Brad DePussy. Ladies and gentlemen, the local scholarships raised in this area was $47,950 to our graduating seniors. Good luck. Would those of you doing the class song please come forward now? You people will love this.
beauty. It's funny how we feel so much, but we cannot say a word. We are screaming inside, oh, we can't be heard. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. Remember the good times that we had. I let them slip away from us when things got bad. Now clearly I first saw you smiling in the sun. I wanna feel your warmth upon me. I wanna be the one. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. Weep not for the memories.
It feels like I've been waiting all afternoon to get up here. Every year, quite just before we do the presentations of diplomas, I like to say a few words. I'd like to welcome the parents, the families, the friends, board members, colleagues, and our special guests, especially those who graduated not so long ago from Nokomis Regional High. Today is a very exciting and wonderful day, a culminating event to the past 13 years. For the parents out there, I can guarantee you this is not the culminating event. It does go on, believe me. These students have had many achievements, and the achievements they've had will continue on here at Nokomis even after they graduate today. As was mentioned, 63% of this student body is going on to schools of higher learning, 1% to the military, and about 36% to the world of work, another type of education. Those colleges and universities and world of work and militaries vary across the United States. The students are attending schools far and wide to greater enhance their learning. As they depart to colleges or universities, work, or the armed forces, I would like them to take along one strong characteristic. It's a rare person sometime during their life who doesn't get discouraged, whether it happens to them or to an associate with whom they're trying to cheer up.
The answer to that one word centers around the word perseverance. The value of courage, of hard work, of persistence, and perseverance has rarely been illustrated better than in the life of the story of a man I want to share with you very briefly. At age 22, this particular man failed in business. At age 23, he ran for legislature and he was defeated. At age 24, he went back to business and again failed. At age 25, he was finally elected to the legislature, but at age 26, his sweetheart died. At age 29, he was defeated as Speaker to the House, and at 31, he was defeated as elector. At age 34, he was again defeated for Congress, and at 37, finally elected to Congress. But at age 46, he was defeated for the Senate. And at age 47, he was defeated for Vice President of the United States. And at age 49, again defeated for the Senate. At age 51, he was elected President of the United States. His name was Abraham Lincoln. As you go out, remember perseverance. You may be disappointed if you fail. You'll be doomed if you don't try. For the class of 1998, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll be among the stars. Good luck and best wishes to the Nokomis Regional High graduating class of 1998. Now the moment that we've all been waiting for. I ask the students as they come across to receive their diploma to please stop so that parents who would like to take that picture to have an opportunity to do so. And remember, as you come across, please face the cameras. Alicia M. Seward. Liza Marie Bennett. Jamie Lynn Duraps. Amy Lynn Stratton. Naomi Marianne Kearns. Rebecca E. Melanson. Rose M. Hall. Jeremy Ross Parker. Corey Gooston. Chad M. Garrett. Nicholas Chambers. James R. Toll. Stephen W. Hopkins. Wesley A. Millett. Sabine Hellman. Hope Allison Curl. Wanda Lynn Smith. Rachel Shelley Ricker. Heather Evangelista. Jamie Morin. Renee Marie Vigu. Wendy Lee Winslow. Jason Allen Lawler. Mark Labonte. Donald Sherman Butts, Jr. Jacob V. Van Eddestein. Michael J. Shaw. Michael Wayne Crosby. Robert Michael Tibbetts. Nicholas Tucker. Melissa Rose Allen. Amanda Lynn Neal. Jennifer May Cowan. Hillary J. Frazier. Rebecca Elizabeth Carlo. Cindy Lee Farewell. Heather Ray Tozier. Amanda Shea LaCroix. Lisa Marie Nutter. Ronald A. Graves, Jr. Austin McEwen. Levi E. Vigu. Forrest Hayes. Alan K. Hicks. Scott A. Lister. Ryan R. Curry. Jeremy Fowler. Evan B. Cole. Becky Jo Cochran. Heather Mae Norton. Crystal M. Hoare. Nora Eileen Smith-Hilton. Melissa Marie Dearborn. Cassidy L. Felton. Angelina N. Dunlop. Sherry Albert. Tammy Marie Cloutier. They're getting tougher now. Raymond L. Graves. Matthew Thomas Snowman. Brad Norris. James Laurent. James Stoughton. Luke Justin Burke. Douglas Woodard. Dennis Emery Woodard. Felicia Ray Jewell. Carrie Lynn Clark. Dara Michelle Connell. Tanya L. Shaw. Jennifer Marie Cray. Angela Marie Noble. Elena Marie Sullivan. Courtney Grace Cole. Andrea P. Montea. Walter Long. Adam Bussell. Dominic C. Chamberlain. Michael S. Watson. Ian A. McConnell. Justin E. Waltman. Paul S. Moulton. Preston Bragan. Melissa Marie Mallory. Jasmine Hope Susi. Rachel Lynn Henderson. Amanda Perry. Carrie L. Shaw. Jennifer Lynn Bolstridge. Rachel Ann Hurlbert. Shannon White. Samantha Jane Jark. Vincent Peter Migalari. Frederick W. Coates. Kevin B. Terrio. Robert J. Perry. Timothy E. Holt. Randy Worcester. Theodore James Witten. Timothy J. Smith. Angela Louise Pelkey. Laura Jean Haining. Heidi Lynn Rowe. Kylie Lynn Turner. Cheryl Charles. Kelly Marie Kennedy. Elizabeth Joanne Eaton. Lynette J.E. Oliver. Jamie Lynn Baker. Daryl Christopher Crawford. Wayne Thomas Bartlett. Travis Brewer. Thomas D. Clifford. Jason D. Lusignan. Charles W. Jones II. Nathan Andrew Roach. Jack McKay III. Jillian Diane Oliver. Barbara V. Hand. Heather Lynn Davis. Reagan McGinnis. Marcia L. Hartford. Rachel Laura Patton. Irena Andronova. Brandy L. Hussar. Tara M. Pakala. You didn't think I could do it. One for me. Travis Lee Bailey. Matthew C. Cherrier. Robbie A. Guston. Ryan Rowe. Matthew Smith. Eric L. Higgins. Nathaniel F. Belanger. Nicholas James Wallace. Gina Masihi. Joanne S. Tebow. Amanda Elizabeth Buber. Patricia Renee Curtis. Jamie Lynn Norton. Holly Rose Burke. Maud Emma Ricknell. Brianna Lynn Lovely. Amanda Jo Dorman. Tiffany Lee Falloon. Christiane A. Werner. Nate Pennock. Jason Burgoyne. Bradley Brian Duplessis. Rodney R. Rouse. James Anthony Chiquetto. Brandy Marshall Allison. Brandon Marshall Allison. Adam J. Merrill. Ryair S. Gosterlin. Any last words? Kimberly Ann Pushor. Jared A. Otis. Joseph Howard Adams. Amanda J. Grignan. Barrett Anthony Brown. Emily Hart Burgess. Lisa Ann Hamlin. Andrea Lynn Pelkey. Kelly Jo Madigan. have the class stand, please? It's at this time, and with that I introduce to you the 1998 Nokomis Regional High Class of 1998. Okay. Good practice.